classes that is going to be ongoing, for some time for us to be able to really have a deep understanding, because there are different layers to this particular subject matter. And these different layers have different ways of understanding them, because we cannot just give a total summary of all of these different layers in just one sitting. You will not be able to truly comprehend it. You will not be able to truly understand it. So I asked the question, nature, art, nature's mystery, what do you understand about it? And each and every one of you give your own, variegated opinions about, okay, this is what it means, this is what it is, nature itself is art, and everything like that. But there's more to this than, we are talking about. And this is what we are going to be, analyzing today. I did not have time to type, so I just kind of like put them down, I just wrote down in my diary. First of all, for us to understand this subject matter, we must have a little understanding of astrology. What is astrology? Now, there are two types of astrology. Basically, astrology is all one, but there are two ways of looking at astrology. You look at it from the tropical, astrology, and the sidereal astrology. What is the tropical astrology? The tropical astrology is the form of computation of which we call horoscopy, in the West, horoscope, zodiac signs, and all of that. This horoscopy is based on the movement of the sun. Are you guys understanding? Are you guys following me? Based on what? The movement of the sun. Now, there is what is called the sidereal astrology. The sidereal astrology is called Vedic astrology or Jyotish, which means the science of light. Jyoti. Jyoti means light. All right. Jyoti means light. So now a person that understands Jyoti is called a Jyotisha, meaning a person that understands the science of what? Of light. Now, Jyotisha, Vedic astrology, is based on what? Sidereal calculation, sidereal calendars, which is based on the movement of the moon. In horoscopy, they believe that the sun has more influence on the human life, and in Vedic astrology, we believe that the moon have more influence on, the life of a person, because what is it that influences your existence? It is not the sun. The sun does not influence your existence. It is the moon that influences your existence, how you feel about life, what you think about life, your emotional reaction to the different things that happens in your life. Excuse me. So the different things that happen in your life, the different people you are going to meet in your life, the different ways you are going to react with the different people that you meet in your life is all based on what? The movement of the moon. Now, the moon is called Prajapati. Prajapati. What is Prajapati? Praja, Praja is offsprings. Praja means offspring. Pati, means the Lord, the Master. It is the moon that is responsible for the process for you to be conceived in the womb of your mother. So the moon is the one that is responsible for creation and for creation, continuation of creation of life on this planet Earth. And from Vedic astrological perspective, we understand that the moon is actually the emperor of Earth, and we are the inhabitants, we are the citizens of the moon's, kingdom. Why are we the citizens of the moon kingdom? Why not the sun? So are you telling me that the sun does not have influence upon us? Yeah, the sun has its own influence, but it is the moon that has more greater influence upon a person. It is based on the influence of the moon. That is why the woman passes through different cycles, different menstrual cycles. When the moon is not balanced in a woman, you will say that, when the moon is not balanced, or when a woman is not having a menstrual cycle in the proper order that she's supposed to have it, you will say that the moon is not balanced in her life. It is, you see, the moon has different phases. There are basically 24 phases, 24 phases of the moon. Now these 24 phases of the moon is divided into 14, 14. 14, 14 is how much? How much is that? 28? Right. So, sorry, there are 28 phases of the moon, right? And these 28 phases are divided into 14 and 14. So there is 14 good side and there is 14 bad side, of the moon. Now, this 14 good side or 14 bad side of the moon is like a crescent. Have you seen a crescent moon? A crescent moon is in the shape of the horn of a cow. Have you seen the horn of a cow before? If you've seen the horn of a cow, you will see that the crescent moon is shaped like the horn of a cow. And because the crescent moon is shaped like the horn of a cow, like the pointiness, you look at whenever you see, there are two types of crescent moon. There is the new crescent moon and there's the old crescent moon. What is the new crescent moon? The new crescent moon is when the moon is waxing, when the moon is waxing. The old crescent moon is when the moon is waning. So there are 12 weeks for the moon to wax to become full, and there are 12 weeks for the moon to wax to become, how do you call it in English? For the moon to wane. To become.
For it to be a new moon.
Yes. So 12 to become full, 12 to become no moon. Are you understanding? Now, from the first crescent moon to the other crescent moon is like this. Let me try to see. My handwriting is not so nice. My drawing is not so nice, but I'm just trying to show you guys as an explanation. All right. If you observe the placement, if you observe the moon every day, there was a class I gave and I taught some weeks ago, no, some months ago, where I was explaining to the students the importance of always observing the moon, because observing the movement of the moon helps you to know what are the different phases and the different things that the moon is going to give or is going to do in your life. Now, when it is a new moon, it is called Shukla Paksha. When it is an old moon that is waning, it is called Krishna Paksha. Now, the new moon rises from the left to the right. The old moon rises from the right to the left, like this. Can you see? Do you see this? Do you see? These are the two different phases of the moon. When the moon is rising full, it turns to the if the moon is on the positive side, it is on the right side. It goes to the right side. And when it is on the negative side, when it is waxing or waning, so when it is waning to the negative side, it goes to the left side. Are you understanding? Is it making sense to you guys? That is why you will see the moon get full from this point. It gets full, and then from this point, it wanes. Do you understand? From this point, it wanes. From this point, it gets its power. From this point, it loses its power. The moon gets its power from this point, and from this point, it loses all the power it has gotten. So this is called Krishna Paksha, and this is called Shukla Paksha. Now, this Krishna Paksha is considered to be like the horn of a cow, the horn of a bull, When you see the horn of a bull, you see this sharp edge of the horn of a bull, not any kind of bull. Like, yeah, let me see if I can check for bulls on my, you know, on Google. Not just any kind of bull, you know, but the real, you know, horn of a full-grown bull. This represents the moon. And because it represents the different phases of the moon, it also represents the different ways that it influences the mind of a human, you know, the mind of a human, the good things that happen in a human's life, you know, and the bad thing that happens in a human's life. A lot of us, we don't really pay attention to this, but it has all of it has strong significance, and they give strong significance and give strong, you know, importance for us to be able to know and understand. Like, for example, if you guys tap, you know, go on your internet and you look, if you look into different histories of the world, and whenever they are depicting the moon, you will see that they depict the moon as, you know, as a cow, you know, or the moon sitting on a cow. Have you guys seen such? Am I visible or I'm not visible?
You are visible. We can hear you.
Okay. When you see people depicting the moon, you will see that they depict, if you go into the ancient Egyptian uh, um, explanation, or the ancient Egyptian uh, depiction of the moon, you will see that they always depict the moon like a cow, and the moon is seated in between the two horns of a cow. Have you guys seen that before?
Go to Egypt mummy scripture, and then there are symbols. Is there
Good. Now,
different?
when
The goddess Hathor.
sorry,
That's the goddess Hathor.
goddess, Hathor, you know, whichever way, you know, we call it. But basically, the point I'm trying to uh explain is to let you guys understand how the moon is actually the main controller, is the main emperor of this planet called Earth. And because he is the main emperor of this planet called Earth, we are the inhabitants of the moon. We are the inhabitants of the moon planet. And because we are inhabitants of the moon planet, everything that we are doing, everything that we are acting, or whatever, doing or not doing, is all based on what? The movement of the moon. And that is why in sidereal astrology, it is more about the placement of the moon rather than the placement of the sun. Where was the moon as at the time that you were born? That is what determines what kind of a destiny you are going to have. Because your destiny is directly connected to your emotion, isn't it? How you emotionally respond to the different things that um how you emotionally respond to the different things that happen in your life, whether good or bad. It's all based on your emotion. Now, that is what is going to determine what kind of a destiny, you know, you are going to have or not have. Any question before I continue? Hello?
No question.
Okay. No question. All right. All right then. So, to the moon. So the two different phases of the moon, which is the crescent moon and the two different half of the moon, the two crescent full phases of the moon, you know, they all have different significances on how, you know, they influence our life, our destiny, and not just only our destiny. Just a minute. Okay, I think this is good. I can use this to show you guys. All right, I'm going to share my screen.
I have a question, Baba.
Let me know. Wait first. Let me know if my screen is visible. Is my
Yes,
screen visible?
yes.
Okay. Now this is what I want to show you guys. Where did it go? This. Do you see this?
Yes.
This is the two faces of the moon. This is the two faces of the moon. This is the shadow planet called Rahu holding the moon. So this is called Shukla Paksha and this is called Krishna Paksha. Now, these two phases of the moon have different ways of influencing each individual's life. The moon encounters a demon that captures it once, a fortnight. And when this demon captures it, when it is on the good side of the demon, it is called Shukla Paksha, sorry. And when it is on the bad side of the demon, it is called Krishna Paksha. That is when the moon starts losing its power, not able to fight the demon called Rahu. Are you guys understanding? So,
yes.
to be able to understand the concept of the art of nature, to be able to understand what the art of nature, means or represent, you must understand that first of all, everything about your life is influenced by the moon, not by the sun. The moon plays major role when you are going to die. The moon is what is going to play the major role. And that is why you will see a lot of time when people ask me to pray or say, do some prayer for us. I always say one simple prayer, which is, may you live to see millions and millions and millions of what? Full moon. Do you understand? May you live to see what? Millions and millions of what? Full moon. Because when you were born, when your great-great-grandfather was born, the full moon was present. When he gave birth to your grandfather, the full moon was also present. When he died, the moon was present. When your father met your mother, the moon was present. When your mother conceived of you, the moon was present. When your mother gave birth to you, the moon was present. When your mother passed away, the moon was present. When you gave birth to your own child, the moon was present. When you are going to leave this world, the moon is still going to be present. When your child is going to have his own child or her own child or their own children and continue the lineage, the moon is still going to be present. It is the witnesser of everything. You understand? And we are what? We are the residents of this planet ruled by the moon. Yes, Miss Atabe, please ask me your question before I continue.
Oh, I remember you saying that it matters where the moon is at the time of your birth. Do you mean like waxing or waning?
Yes, whether after waxing or waning, it matters a lot because based on where
So sorry. I was gonna say if you're born with a waxing moon, what does that mean?
if a person is born within the period whereby the moon is waxing, which means the moon is gaining its strength. It's not losing strength, it is gaining its strength. These are people that have very innocent way of looking at life. Like there are some people you will meet them, they are very, the way they, even though people are doing bad to them, but they don't really see it as bad. You understand? The way they understand life is totally innocent. And people will call them, are you such a fool that you are tolerating this? What is wrong with you? Why is this? Why is that? It is based on they were born in the period whereby the moon is innocent. The moon is still new. If you see a person that is born when the moon is in Taurus, that is to tell you that the moon is still innocent. The moon is still infant. These people, they have a certain innocence about the way they see life, about the way they relate with life. And that is why people easily take advantage of them. Unscrupulous men or unscrupulous women easily take advantage of people like this, because the moon is still in its infant stage, still growing. When the moon comes to Leo, now the moon is growing. Now it is having intelligence. Okay, all right, no, this should not be done. Now, when the moon starts getting to Scorpio, now the moon is now what? It's now waxing. It's now waning. So you see, the moon starts from Aries, goes to Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. That is one cycle. And then from Pisces again, now this is one full cycle of a waxing moon. Now from Pisces again, now you start going from Aries, Taurus. Now this is another cycle of what? Waning moon. And that is why you see anybody that you see the moon, or anybody that actually the movement of the day is based on from 6 early in the morning to 6 in the evening, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
From 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning, that is one phase of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is based on what? Another phase of the moon. This is based on what? Another phase of the moon. And that is why you will see when a person is born and the moon is in Aries, these people, they are very innocent. They have a very innocent way of looking at life. When the moon is in Taurus, they are still innocent. When the moon goes to Gemini, still innocent. When it goes to Leo, it's still innocent. And then when the moon starts getting into Scorpio, now the mind starts becoming deeper in whatever they do.
How about Sagittarius?
Sorry?
Sagittarius.
We are getting there, yes. When the mind start getting deeper, when it gets to Sagittarius, start getting more curious, more, oh no, this should not be happening. Why is this happening? It starts asking questions. Now, when it gets to Capricorn, now the mind becomes frozen, because Capricorn is the sign of Saturn. Saturn is nothing but air without emotion. Do you understand? It's a frozen air, but has no emotion. So now when the moon gets into Capricorn, gets into Aquarius, now the emotion becomes frozen. It's not able to comprehend what makes people sad. Like, why are you sad because of that? These are people you'll be like, oh, why are you so emotionless? And why are you like this? Why? It's just because the moon now is in a phase where it's not able to feel any emotion. And as it goes on and on, leaves the different zodiac signs and goes through the different areas, it influences each individual. And that is why you see in Vedic astrology, we don't pay attention to the placement of the sun. The sun is more about your father, is more about your soul. But what is it that influences the existence of your soul is the moon. Comprend? Understanding?
Yes.
So, now that you guys understand this perspective of the two different sides of the moon, the waning side and the waxing side, the crescent moon, the two different crescent moon, and how the different crescent moon, how they face. When the moon is waxing, you will see that the crescent moon it waxes to the right. When it is waning, it's waning to the left. It wanes to the left, and that is why you will see. If you look into the Muslim mosque, you will see that they use the crescent moon, isn't it?
Yes.
There's a different direction. When the crescent moon is positioned in two different directions. They face it in two different directions. Let's not go into that because it might digress me a bit. So, the 12th house in Vedic astrology deals with what? The understanding of the phenomenon beyond physical understanding. What is that phenomenon? Art, nature, mystery. Is an introspective, it's an introspective understanding of the 12th house. Now, the 12th house represents the 12th dimensions. How many dimensions did I say? What
12.
dimensions did I say? The
12
dimensions, meaning that there are 12 dimensions on this human existence. Understanding? Following?
Yes. Yes.
If we look into the 12th house, everything around us is simply nothing but a beautiful work of art, right? But who is the painter? Who is the artist responsible for this creation? The world beyond is simply nothing but a dive into the 12th dimension of consciousness. This dimension isn't easily accessible to people, unlike other dimensions of consciousness. There are 12 dimensions. One, the first dimension deals with what? Understanding of the self. The second dimension deals with what? Effort relating to the self. The third dimension deals with what? Courage and speech. The fourth dimension it deals more with the abode. The abode of the consciousness, where the consciousness feels or calls a home. The fifth dimension deals with the creativity of the consciousness. The sixth dimension deals with what? Obstacles relating to the consciousness, the obstacles that the consciousness needs to overcome. The seventh dimension deals with what? Partnership. Understand, marriage is not about, is not an agreement. Marriage is a partnership. People you come together with to achieve a specific goal. And the specific goal of marriage is to procreate so as to be able to pass on the curse so that the curse can continue. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
So
And that,
people get married to pass on a curse?
but of course, you think they just get
Should
married
it get-
because of love? What is it that influences them to come together? Out of the thousands and thousands of people on the surface of the earth, why is it that it's a specific person that you feel like, I wish to stay with this person?
Well, you said a curse.
But of course, it is a curse to pass on. We're
So
not,
why get married?
we're not going to go
Oh,
into that for now. We're not going to go into that for now. But yes,
okay.
the seventh dimension is about partnership, the people you meet, how you respond with them, how you relate with them, how they relate with you, positive or negative. It's about the partnership of the partnership relating to this dimension, the seventh dimension. The eighth dimension is about the transformations that happen in your life. When people come into your life and they leave you, it creates a certain transformation in your consciousness. It creates a certain transformation in your understanding of life. When certain things happen, unexpectedly happens to you, it creates a certain transformation. Now, the transformation can either be for good or for bad. And that is what the eighth dimension is about, understanding the transformation relating to this consciousness. And then we have the ninth dimension. The ninth dimension deals with the teachers you come across that helps you to understand yourself. The teachers you come about, the kinds of teachings that you will hear relating to how to either pull down your consciousness or elevate and pull up your consciousness. And then we have the 10th dimension. The 10th dimension deals with what? Productivity. What do you need to do to be able to maintain this consciousness? And then we have the 11th dimension, which is a dimension relating to desires. Each and every one of us have desire, right? There's a dimension that deals with this desire. And now, but our focus today is about what? The 12th dimension. The 12th dimension is considered as the dimension of the unknown.
The 10th one is what again?
The 10th dimension is about productivity.
Thank you.
And then we have the 12th dimension, which is about the unknown. Foreign things. Things that are foreign are called what? Unknown. And that's why it is called foreign. You know, something that the body or the mind is not used to is called foreign. Something that you are not habituated with is called what? Foreign. Now, this is the 12th dimension. This dimension is not on the physical plane, it is on the mental plane, on the subtle plane. That dimension exists there. The other dimension I have given explanations to, you know, they exist on the physical plane except for the 8th dimension. The 8th and the 12th dimension exist on the what? spiritual plane, subtle plane, mental plane. And because they exist there, this is the area where a lot of people dread. Because this dimension deals with what? Transformation from death, transformation related to death, ghost. A lot of people get so curious. People get very curious about this dimension. The 12th dimension of consciousness spikes people's curiosity, for it is a dimension filled with what? Mystery knowledge untapped. Most humans would try to assess this dimension or tap of the vast knowledge in it becomes or are perceived as mentally unstable by humans who have no idea of the existence of the 12th dimension. A place where we go to find ourselves, but if not careful, we lose ourselves also to it. It is the abode of ghosts, goblins, spirits, who are the guidance of this dimension. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So when we are speaking about art, nature, when a person sits down and he writes a novel that is so captivating, or a person write a script, a movie script, and when you watch the movie, you feel like you are transported to a whole total universe, a whole total different, lifestyle and everything like that. They are tapping from the knowledge of what? The 12th dimension. A lot of people tap into that dimension to be able to increase their productivity. And a lot of people get into that dimension out of curiosity and they die there. Yes, they die there. Death in the 12th dimension is horrible. Now understand, these are the different dimensions that the soul passes through. The soul, which is the consciousness in the body, encounters and passes through these dimensions. So I'm going to stop here. Wait for the next classification, whereby we're going to go deep down into the different breakdown of the different dimensions. Any question, comment, correction, all of the above?
So the 12th dimension is basically where anybody who makes music, movies, like they go there for inspiration.
Yes, that is the dimension that they are trying to bring. A person that creates something that is foreign to people, they are operating from that dimension. A person that comes to explain a knowledge that is foreign to you, they are operating from that dimension. A person, all these movie writers or musicians that create a certain kind of music that you're like, wow, what kind of music is this? Where is this coming from? They are operating, they are getting the knowledge, they are trying to uplift their consciousness to that dimension. Now, sometimes it is done. Sometimes this dimension is always accessible to everybody. And sometimes unconsciously, we also dive into that dimension. We dive in and out.
So is it safe to do that?
Is it safe to do that, to dive into the dimensions?
Yes.
Well, it happens sometimes that we ourselves, we are not conscious of. When you get into a state whereby you are in so much deep thought, and most of what you are thinking about is not something that is even very visible. It's like people call it imaginations in your head or stuff like that, but you are trying to assess the 12th dimension.
So when kids are talking to invisible friends, so it's something like that, right? When you see sometimes the little big kids,
yes,
yeah, they said this is my friend is they're with me, they want to eat. Oh, okay.
They are assessing the 12th dimension.
So the inspiration from the 12th dimension comes from the ghosts and the entities that's there.
Oh, the 12 dimensions, the inspiration in the 12th dimension is very vast. The ghosts, the spirits, the goblins are just nothing but part of the inhabitant of these dimensions, and they're like guardians of these dimensions.
Okay.
Those that are not able to raise their consciousness higher are the ones that get possessed by these entities.
Mm.
There are certain phases where a person passes through strong ghost possession. It is because that person at that state, there's a certain consciousness that is trying to assess or gain access to a certain dimension that the consciousness is not yet ready for or is not strong enough for. And then there's possession of ghosts, goblins, etc., etc.
So there are some traditional healer that tap into that dimension to help people here,
Yes, but not always.
and even do bad stuff with others.
Yes, that is a fact.
All right.
There are some that are able to enter into that state, but like I said, that state is very dangerous. Some people get into the dimension and they are not able to come out of it. They get addicted to the dimension that they spoil their life.
Is it that nice out there to be addicted to it?
Yes.
Who said yes?
It's me.
Is it no? Because I'm wondering, is it like a paradise type dimension, which is why you're addicted and might die there and be stuck, or is it just such a vast amount of knowledge and creativity and productivity that you're just willing, trying to absorb everything?
It is a field of vast creativity, vast knowledge. That if the consciousness is not strong and the mind is not strong enough to absorb the knowledge that they are trying to tap in that dimension, they go mad.
Okay.
And then you start seeing them, they are talking and they're scribbling, they are helpless, their eyes is wide and they're writing. Do you know this? They are very, very uncomfortable. They get very fidgety. Yeah, this is because they are trying, the mind is not able to absorb all the knowledge that they are tapping in that dimension.
They said that that's what happened to Leonardo da Vinci.
Yes.
But can I ask a question, please?
Wait.
I've been having that.
Wait.
Okay, sorry.
When there is no proper knowledge, and we try to understand this art mystery, the nature mystery, and not having the proper guidance to read, then we go crazy.
Greediness too, right?
Greediness, yes. There are people that are greedy for knowledge. There are people that are greedy for power. They want to absorb. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. But they cannot use it because they don't have the right blessing. To be able to navigate into this dimension and not get caught in the different allurement that are in that dimension, to be able to navigate, see, that dimension is what you need to navigate to be able to go to another dimension outside of this world. That is just the 12th dimension. There is the 13th dimension, the 14th dimension, the 15th dimension. And it goes to the 108th dimension. That is the highest. To be able to assess that, the consciousness has to be ready and the mind has to be, strong enough to be able to absorb. Else, if the mind is not strong enough, it's going to be just like sponge. You keep pouring water on it, pour, it absorbs the water, and then after a while, it starts leaking out. When it starts leaking out, the mind, then you say the person is going local. Because it's not able to absorb, and assimilate and digest all that is being pumped from that dimension. It's a dimension that has both sides, good and bad. Whatever it is you wish to find in that dimension, you will get it. A lot of us, instinctively, we don't know, but we are attracted to that dimension. Anybody that is attracted to wanting to marry a husband that is a foreigner, they're indirectly trying to understand, their subconscious is indirectly wanting to, is because anything that is foreign, anything that is called taboo, there are people that are naturally attracted to things like this. This is the things of the other dimension, the 12th dimension. There are people that are very like, I don't want to stay in my home. I want to go abroad. I want to stay abroad. That is that is the 12th dimension. But on a material plane, have you heard of what is called auto writing before?
Yes.
Auto writing is when you sit down, you try to clear your mind, and then you hold a pen and you try to just allow the movement, everything, whatever the spirit to just take over, and then you start writing, and then you're like, what did I write? Oh, this is what I've written. They're trying to access the 12th dimension. A lot of inventions have been created like this. Okay, Yvonne, please ask me your question.
Sorry, my network has been bad. I've been going off and on.
Okay.
Okay, are you talking about soul traveling? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm not talking about soul traveling. I'm talking about
Okay,
the
because
12th dimension.
okay,
All right.
okay, I get you.
Any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Concern the moon.
Mm.
The moon is the goddess or demigod?
The moon is a demigod.
So what's the difference between demigod and goddess?
Well, demigod is the male, goddess is the female. The moon is not a
Okay.
woman. The moon is a man. You understand?
How do you know?
How do I know?
Because I would assume there was a woman because it dictates emotions and
The moon is not a woman. The moon is a man. The moon has
Oh wow.
the moon has 28 wives. And these 28 wives are called the 28 constellations.
Wow.
So, because the moon is a man, that is why the earth is able to procreate. It's a praja, it's the emperor that controls the movement of everything on earth. We are all inhabitants of the moon's kingdom. So people that say the moon goddess are people that are mentally not so understanding of what the moon is.
As a Lord Chandra.
Yeah, Lord Chandra is a man. It's not a woman. Yes, Yvonne?
No, I don't know. I thought that it's the feminine energy that creates. So I don't know. I just thought that the moon and this was a feminine.
People naturally think like that, isn't it?
Yeah, like Mother Gaia and all these kind of things. I thought that
Oh,
just a
Gaia,
feminine energy.
Gaia is the wife of Jupiter. Tara is the wife of Jupiter. Do you know that?
No, it's my first time hearing this. I didn't even know they had wives and husbands.
But of course, what exists here on this material plane is nothing but a perverted reflection of what exists in these subtle dimensions. Do you understand? How do you know?
Okay.
When people tell you about, oh, the moon is like this, the moon is this, or the sun is this, the sun is that, the stars are this, the stars are this person, from where are they seeing that? When you look at the moon, what you see in the sky is just a big globe, isn't it? And then somebody is telling you that no, the moon is not just a big globe. The moon is a person that dresses like this. He writes, this is the kind of vehicle or the kind of animals that he associates himself with. This is how he is. This is his palace. From which dimension are they telling? Which dimension of the moon are they talking about?
Is it the 12th dimension?
Higher
Or wherever the dimension is?
higher than the 12th dimension.
Okay.
so every dimension of the moon is a different persona.
No. Every dimension of the moon is not different persona. What is the difference is that the cloud, the curtain that covers the mind's eye becomes more removed the more you go higher in the dimension, in the understanding of the dimensions. It's like when you are in a hospital, and in the hospital, your bed is covered with just curtains. And because your bed is covered with so many layers of curtains, you cannot really see what is on the other side. For you to be able to see what is on the other side, you need to push the curtain away, move the curtain so that you can be able to see. But the curtain is thick with different layers. So trying to go higher in the dimension of your consciousness is like trying to snip through each layer of the curtains that has been used to cover you in the hospital that you are. Understand?
True. Yes. But I didn't understand what you mean about ghosts and other stuff like you said they can attack you or trap you.
Of course.
But if you're traveling with your consciousness, how is it able to be how do you trap consciousness? That's what I'm trying to.
Consciousness is, how do you trap?
Isn't that your soul?
No, it's not like that. You see, let me ask you guys a question. The ancient Egyptians, why do they take so much effort to hide their place of burial? Can anybody explain to me why?
What is a burial?
Burial, their burial site.
Okay.
So, because they're thinking that they're gonna use their body in the other dimensions, so they preserve it and protect it with their fine possessions and protective items to aid in their transition to the afterlife or the other subtle dimensions.
Yes, because they believe that they are still good. They need some possessions. They need, when you go to the Egyptian burial site, you will see that they always keep very small, tiny cups, because they believe that the soul is very tiny. The soul is it's tiny. Your soul is tinier than this. I don't know if you guys can. It's
Yeah.
tinier than this. It is nothing. It's tiny, very tiny. That is the soul
Yeah.
that powers this your body.
Wow. Tiny but powerful.
But of course, to be able to break out of that, you need to understand first of all, you need to understand what is consciousness and what is it that makes it. So what was the question again? Someone asked me a question. I lost thought of my thought process.
No, I was just finding it difficult how ghosts and entities can, trap your consciousness because
They
I don't know. I think
they don't trap the consciousness, they trap the mind.
they trap the mind.
They trap the mind. Your mind can be easily trapped.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Can be easily trapped. And that is why it is said, when you are trying to navigate or understand things of other dimensions, you must be ready that you have a mind that is capable enough, strong enough to be able to digest the mysteries of the other dimensions that will be revealed to you. But if the mind is not strong enough, not capable enough, and you are trying to understand it, oh, you go crazy.
Yeah.
Just
But
like,
aren't they like
just like this. Have any of you gone or had a mushroom trip before?
An emotional trip?
Mushroom.
you mean like ayahuasca kind of?
Oh no,
Yeah.
not yet.
Any of you had that before? Have any of you gone on a trip before? Huh?
No, I haven't. I have not.
I've thought about it, but it's scary.
I'm not saying you guys should do that. Don't say, oh, Sukadev is bringing it up, so maybe I should try it. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just trying to explain something to you guys.
I don't even know what it is, but
It's
what
good.
is it?
Don't know what it is. It's good. It is good. Don't know what it is. But the point is, when you go into this trip of maybe ayahuasca, ayahuasca, or you go into the mushroom, you use the mushroom to enter into any trip or stuff like that. The more you go in, the more the mind becomes dull and the consciousness become more pronounced, the more your understanding of what you see becomes different. Now, at that state, when the mind is not strong enough to absorb the content of what is tapping into, the mind becomes unsteady, and then it is easily possessed by ghosts. And that is why you see people also, so many people also that goes into drug or stuff like that, or take some marijuana for some time, and when they get into that state, because when you get into that state, you are trying to tap into a certain dimension. The 12th dimension is what deals with people wanting to do taboo, anything that is taboo, to be able to tap into the knowledge. Some people use sex as a means to get into that dimension.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So sex magic.
So, Baba,
No.
Sex.
hello, yes,
Sex.
this story that has been going on is happened to in Libreville, Gabon. So one woman, she lived in Paris, but she decided to go to Gabon to have more power and because she want more power to be doing all she wants. So they have this tree there and a course, I believe is a tree or a course that they eat and they go there. So she went there, they did all the preparation, they give it to her to eat and drink, and then she will go and meet her ancestor and ask them some question and get some power. So they say some people goes and come back, and some people goes and you not come back. So she went and she never come back. So I was asking, is it really true or is just make up story?
No, there are certain things that are not make-up stories. There are certain things that are not made-up stories. There are many things that are real. Like the mountain called Himalaya. There's a dimension of that mountain called Himalaya that a human can never access. And if you access that dimension, that part of the mountain, you don't come back anymore. Not that the person is dead, but it doesn't just come back anymore.
It's a portal.
It's a portal. Let's put it like a portal, but it's a certain place. It's a certain point in the Himalayas there that whoever gets there does not come back anymore. The person does not die, but you cannot come back anymore.
And you go there physically?
Yes, there was a person. Let me blow you guys' mind now. I'm gonna tell you two stories, so that you guys understand why,
Before, I didn't know the same mountain that if you get close to your fingernail will be growing long before you.
No, not
It
that.
turns you old.
No, not that one. No.
Is it the one with the masters?
No, no, this is called the Himalayas. You check it on the internet, you see the Himalayan mountains and everything. But
Where the monks stay at the top.
yes, but that is not the top. The monk stays. This is the mountain that I also went. It's not the top that the monks.
Wow.
Certain dimension. It's a different dimension.
So the top is a different world.
Yes.
You've gone to the 30th dimension. Wow.
We assessed. But let me explain something to you guys. There are people that have assessed this dimension. They assessed the dimension when they were 13, and they came back also still the same age of 13. After hundreds and hundreds of years, they're still 13.
But I thought you said they don't come back when they go up there.
Because of there's some certain spiritual security, spiritual strength. Like I said, For you to be able to go access all of these places, and if your mind is not strong to absorb, then unnecessary thing can happen. There are people that to me, there are people that I know that have done this, accessed that dimension, went for so many years, and they came back. And they're still young. Immortal. You call them immortal. They don't die.
When they come
The
back,
time
do
that
they
so
stay
basically
young
time doesn't exist. So they
Yeah.
come back the same age.
It's still the same age.
and they stay the same age?
Yes, stay the same age. They
Or
don't
once
die.
they come here,
They don't die. When
once
they
they come,
die, they have to go back to the mountain and they go away. You don't find them. You just disappear.
but when they come back, do they start aging as they're here?
But doesn't the physical body, whilst they're away, doesn't it rot and
The body
if you're not
the body does not become physical anymore. It does not become material anymore. Do you know that?
So how can you see
yeah, it
them?
doesn't become I know there's 5 bodies or whatever, but like wow, okay.
The body does not become material anymore. Okay, wait, you guys, let us put a pause on this particular story I just explained now. There's another man. His name is called Tukaram. You guys should type it on your internet and search it out. Tukarama. That is Tukaram. Saint Tukaram. He's a poet. All he does all his days is just to sing about God. That's all. That's all he does all day. Just think about God, praise God, talk about God. That is all. But do you know how he died? He didn't die. It disappeared. How? How can a person disappear? Right? How can a person disappear?
You went to the Himalayan mountains? And
No.
dimension?
I'm bringing this story up because of something that Ladifa said about a tree. Right? He didn't
Baba, can you spell the name again, please?
put it in the chat box.
All right.
Here's the chat. Somebody, okay. Saint.
What is this one?
Yes, that is it. Saint Tukaram. He disappeared. He was sitting underneath a banyan tree and he started singing about the glories of God. And what happened? The banyan tree started shaking and vibrating heavily. It started, wind started blowing heavily and pew, he disappeared. Till today, if you go to this part of India where he passed away, once a year at that date, at that particular time that he passed away, that tree is still there. That tree start vibrating. Same thing start happening every time, once a year. This is not a made-up story. This is a fact.
Scary.
It's scary, right? Yeah. These are people that have been able to they are physical, but they are not physical.
Is that
Yeah. Yes.
Kind of extraterrestrial?
Extraterrestrial, no, they are not extraterrestrial. It's just that they've been able to transform the physical body to become spiritual, that the body does not act on the spiritual platform anymore. Sorry, the body does not act on the material platform anymore.
yeah.
The hunger,
So they don't have
the hunger that comes upon you when you are hungry doesn't happen to them.
okay.
The anxiety that comes upon you because the body is still on the material form, it doesn't happen to them. The body has become spiritualized. So is it possible to be able to assess this state of consciousness, these particular dimensions at this particular point of our life? It is possible, but it requires discipline. It requires having a teacher. It requires so many things, but also it's based on destiny. It is based on what? Destiny. So yeah. Any question?
So you could do all of those things, have a good teacher, have discipline, do all the right things, sing about God. And if it's not in your destiny, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But because you've had a good teacher and you're doing all of these things, now you pave way for you to be able, the physical body may die, but now you're being able to have direct access.
Okay.
You understand? And your experience of life or death is not going to be the same. It
And
wouldn't.
once you get,
Yeah.
sorry, well, once you get to that level, then you don't fall through the karma and reincarnation. Then
That is what
you've
it
kind of,
means, that you've broken through the deep thread. And that's why I said to you guys, imagine yourself in a hospital and there are so many thick layers of cotton, of curtains that has been used to cover you. To be able to get to that point means you've broken through all the thick curtains. Now you see everything clear. And there's nothing that is blocking your vision. If I do like this, right? If I bring this hand
it's
closer,
still
like,
true.
can I see anything?
No,
No.
Why?
you cover yourself.
No. Why can I not see anything?
Because you're blocking your
It's still
vision.
the
And
physical body
your
is
hands
still
are dense.
open.
It's blocking the vision, isn't it? But now if I bring it this way, can I still see?
Yes.
Why?
Because you've opened the view. Unblocked your view.
Do you understand what I'm trying to explain to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Question. AB is not asking question. Yeah, she does not ask. She has never asked me question. Yeah, does not ask question.
She is always busy.
And
She is
another
always busy.
question, when people speak of Akashic records, for example, that is on a different, that's accessing a different plane. Like, I don't know if it's causal plane or is it
It's still material plane.
it's still the material. We haven't yet passed after maybe the fifth or flow plane.
It's still
So
material
already
plane.
after,
Actually, the word Akashic record, it was first of all used by a man. What's his name again? It was one American occultist, that used it. And he was the one that propagated this state of astral travel. He was the one that propagated it a lot. What's his name again? Ooh, let me find it. What's his name? His name is something. What's his
So
name?
is the Akashic thing even real? If
Yeah.
this man is the one
yes,
that,
Of course, it is a record of your consciousness.
so it's like a consciousness library?
Yes. Yes, Edgar Cayce is the one that used this word, Akashic record. And it was one of, it was very, very popular, Edgar Cayce. You guys can read about him, very popular. So yes, there are people
Yes,
that,
Baba, I have a question. What does this knowledge that we are getting from you, from all the reading, etc. So when it's time to implement it in your life, sometimes you come across certain situation that your mind is just like blank. You don't even know what to do, but you know the knowledge, but you cannot implement it into your life. So after you pass and went through that, and now you remember, oh, what should I do there, do this? So, and what can you do about that?
it means the blessing of the teacher is not yet strong upon the person. There was once a person, his name is called, okay, I'm trying to remember. Forgot his name. I forgot his name, but I will try to remember. So there was once this boy, he went to meet a teacher to ask for knowledge from the teacher. But he pretended, to the teacher. He pretended. What did he say? The teacher asked him, which order of the society are you from? So he lied to the teacher that he's from the lowest order of the society. So the teacher said, okay. The teacher took him, brought him in, started teaching him, impacting him with all knowledge, giving him all that he needs to be able to implement and use the knowledge. But then something happened. One day, the teacher was sleeping and the student was serving the teacher. You see, for you to be able to have knowledge that becomes beneficial for you, you must serve your teacher like, selflessly. It is said to serve the teacher as a menial servant. So this student was serving his teacher. The teacher was resting on his lap. And as the teacher was resting on his lap, there was a scorpion that was coming closer to the teacher. Now, the student, seeing the scorpion and seeing that his teacher is sleeping, does not want to wake up the teacher, does not want to disturb the teacher. So the scorpion was coming closer towards the ear of the teacher, and the teacher's head is directly on his lap. So he picked the scorpion in his hand, held the scorpion in his hand, and the scorpion was stinging him. But he was tolerating the pain of, the sting of the scorpion. It was stinging him, but he was tolerating. He was tolerating the pain. It got to a point that the scorpion already stung him, and bite his hand to a certain stage that the blood spilled from his hand and spilled on the teacher's face. The teacher woke up because he felt something spilled on his face. So he woke up and like, what is that? What is that? And then he saw his student. His head is on the lap of the student. He woke up from the lap of the student, and he saw his student was holding a scorpion. And the scorpion has stung him. His hand is so swollen, and the blood was spilling out of it, and the student is still holding the scorpion. And when the teacher saw him, he immediately threw away the scorpion. At that instant, the teacher knew that the student has lied to him. And the teacher laid a curse on the student and said, because you've come to me to learn from me with a deceitful mind, not telling me the true nature of who you are, lying, this knowledge that you've gotten from me, when you need it the most, you will not have it. It will disappear from you. Do you understand?
But I don't understand. He saved him.
He saved him? No. The teacher asked him, from which order of the society are you from? There are 4 orders of the society. There is the administrative order, which is called the military order. They have very strong mind. They can tolerate anything. There is the Brahminical side of the society, which are like the teachers of the society. They are the highest, of all. They are the highest. They are like the spiritual teachers that guides people, do this, be like this, be like this. So they are the topmost. After them, there is the administrative class, which is these fighters, the warriors. Lower than the administrative class is the business class of people in the society. Lower than them is the servant class of people in the society. The teacher asked him, of which order of this society do you belong to? The student said he belonged to what? The most lowest part of the society, which is the servant class. And based on that, the teacher took compassion on the student to teach the student knowledge for the student to be able to use. When the teacher found out that the student is actually not from the lowest class of the society, that he told the teacher, but was actually from the second order of the society, which is the administrative order of the society. The teacher was upset and laid a curse. For you to have come to learn from me deceitfully, the knowledge you have will be with you, but when you need it the most, it is going to disappear.
But how do you know which class you fall in? Or did he know? Or maybe he didn't know.
But of course, he knew, but he did not tell his teacher. So a lot of people fall into this. So when they come to meet the teachers to learn from the teacher, they don't come with genuine intentions. They don't come with genuine intention to truly learn from the teacher. They come with duplicitous intentions. They come with intentions that are specifically for themselves. And people that comes with intentions that are specifically for themselves, whatever knowledge you get from the teacher, it will be there when the teacher speaks about you. Yeah, I know about this and do this, or when people talk about you, yes, I know about this, and it will be there. But when you need it the most, it disappears. That is because there's a certain part of you that is duplicitous and is not truly sincere, and hence the blessing of the teacher is not fully there. Do you understand?
Okay. So when you want to use basically what the teacher is teaching you for like bad stuff, that's when it's you probably not gonna remember the things that the teacher taught.
Disappears. And if all
Okay.
the time you've been learning from the teacher, but learning from the teacher that I want to be, the knowledge disappears. Knowledge is very, very sensitive. And it only comes to those who are fully humble to be able to get it and not lose it.
That's true.
Understand? Okay, I'm going to
And how do you know, Baba? How do you know that you are not really? Because you think that maybe sometimes you don't know what you want, and sometimes you don't really know yourself too, and you don't know that this thing that I'm doing is not right, or I don't know if you get the point.
I understand your question. This is where you need to sit down. This is where you need to sit down truly, and ask yourself, what do I need? What am I doing? If I'm following a teacher, am I really ready to follow the teacher? To get the blessing, for the blessing to remain, what am I doing? What I'm doing, my actions, is it in reflection of the teachings of the teacher? A lot of us, we have certain action that is not in reflection. How do you know who is a good student? Who is a good student?
I don't know, Baba. You tell me.
Someone who listens and
Asking
follows.
question, participating in the question, and practicing what is hearing, or she is hearing.
A good student is not the ones that raises the hand all the time and answer all the questions that the teacher is asking. That is not a good student. That is not the qualification of a good student. A good student is the one that listens and hears what the teacher have said, goes home, internalize it, and start applying and practicing it to themselves. That is a good student. Do you understand? It's not the one that answers all the questions that the teacher is explaining, or that is able to remove the words from the mouth of the teacher when the teacher is speaking. That is not the qualification of a good student. It is the one that is able to understand when he hears or she hears, goes home. Okay, the teacher has taught me this. All right. How do I internalize this? How do I live in accordance to the teachings of the teacher? Because this is where the blessing comes. This is where the protection comes. That is a good student. All right. So there are so many times when the teacher is teaching in the classroom, and all the students always raising their hand up and everything like that. That does not mean that that is the smartest student in the class. It is the one that understands in depth the lesson, the teachings that the teacher has taught and applies it. That is the good student. Okay?
Okay. I have a last question or whatever.
You have to ask
Baba,
your questions very, very quick because my computer's battery is almost...
Okay. During the meditation, like during you wake up and do your bath and they want to do meditation.
Yeah.
Beginning, your eyes, your chest will be flowing, it will know through. But as times go on, doesn't happen again.
Repeat again.
During the meditation, you
Mm.
sit down quietly and do your prayers. At first, I do 6 rounds. Then your tears will be dropping, your nostril, and those stuffs.
Mm.
But since I have increased it to minimum 12, maximum 15, that will
Feel it again.
throw again. Come again.
You don't feel it again.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that is there. That is to tantalize you, to tell you that there is more, but you need to work hard to be able to get to that level of consciousness that the moment you sit, you are able to dive into that state of consciousness. You know, like when you sit, a lot of people sit down to meditate, but they are not meditating. Their mind is thinking about what they are going to do throughout the day.
Okay,
So
okay,
it's good.
Uh,
It means you need to keep pushing yourself more.
okay. And then concern the Kunti, you taught us about Pandavas, the 5 people. I read about Kuntis, and the middle of the passage, the queen said she wished that this bad activity will happen again, so that the Lord Krishna will come and then deliver us from this, and that they will not come back to this earth again. From that bad intention straight away to the kingdom of God. Is it good idea to happen that way?
Well, her prayer is that of a person that is fully realized. A person like us, we can't say such prayers because we are bombarded with so many desires left, right, center. And when we say such prayers and Krishna start answering such prayers and wants to fulfill that prayer, then we start crying, "Oh, Krishna, why are you answering the prayer? I was just saying it because it makes me feel very nice." So that is why I always say to people, it is good to have your own realization. Don't just capitalize on the realization of other people and now try to understand the realization of other people and try to, present it as if it is your own realization while it is not your realization. So we should always internalize everything we hear so we can have a more deeper understanding. All right. Okay. Okay. On Thursday is fasting. Is it Thursday or Tuesday? Just a minute. Which day is fasting? Which day is fasting? Yeah, next Thursday, 13th of July is fasting. So please, you guys be mentally prepared to fast. All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. God bless you. I have to leave you guys now because my computer battery is almost 0. Else the computer is gonna just switch off. Thank you guys.
Okay.
Bless you.
Thank
See
you.
next week.
See you again. Bye.